Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast. I am one of your hosts, Wrestling Chris G, and popping out of the egg this week is good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, my man, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
How's the world going now that you're not in the dark anymore?
I think I might want to go back.
I don't blame you. So it is May 25th. This is a second go for us today. I like to say that when we do two episodes, because normally on the second one we don't have too much chatting to do, but we can talk about last week's episode. It was nice to have Blades on last week, man.
It was nice. It was nice that we were able to kind of make our schedules kind of match up because, like I said last week or 2 weeks ago, I mentioned that there was a bit of a time difference, and if I'm being honest with you, I can't remember if I mentioned that on last week's episode itself.
Well, I'm sure we talked about it on that episode, but man, it's been a crazy month. So I'd like to slowly thank our last few guests, because we had a month of guests is what I'd like to call it. We had Rich from the Not Suitable for Adults podcast, and we had Blaine last week, and we also had Pokemon sensation, the voice of a generation, Jason Page on in the past month. Like, it's been a crazy month for us, dude.
And today you just get us.
Yes. We're back to normal. And we have some things that me and you are trying to plan out, but until those get hammered out, it's just us again, man. It's nice to be back, like sitting here, not having to rush to do anything. Like, I appreciate all of our guests and everyone that's helped us out here in the podcast, but to get back down to kind of be a little less stressed, it's nice.
When when is this coming out?
This episode? Let's see. So this is episode 50. So, okay. Let's play a little bit of math here. Let's go ahead and go to, let's see, so 42. So we got 8 episodes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like, if I'm doing this right, that this episode is coming out July 16th.
Damn.
Yeah.
Shit.
So if we actually do this right, we're trying to get a special guest on, but we can actually get a special guest the week of his birthday if we plan this right, which will be next week. We need to get on the ball. That would be a nice little gift.
Well, I mean,
we'll see if it happens. I highly doubt it as of right now, but we will see.
well, yeah, I mean, you'll know better. You'll know before we know.
Yes.
If that makes any sense.
But yeah, I've been throwing around the idea. I think I'm gonna do a weekly what once the YouTube page is actually up and going, like a weekly card opening for Pokemon. And maybe I'll be able to have my son on, and we'll be able to open a deck or open a card pack each and say what Pokemon cards we have to add to his thousands of Pokemon card collection that he has going on right now.
I mean, you're talking. This is coming out basically 2 months from now. I mean, you literally could have spent thousands of dollars at this point. You don't know.
Yeah, I doubt I'll be doing that. I'll just throw that out there. I got weddings and quinceañeras that I got to go to. Literally 3 big events coming within the next 2 months.
Oh shit! Yeah.
It's crazy. Well, as you're listening to this, all I have left is oh no. As you're listening to this, I still have one wedding and one quinceañera to go to. So
Yeah.
yeah. So the first wedding is already done and over with. So congratulations, cousin.
Only it were that easy.
I know. So, but yeah, like we said, it's been crazy. It's nice to be sitting back here, not having to talk about anything that's like guest wise right now. It's good to be back with just us. It's good, and man, and I know we say this almost on a weekly basis on this podcast. Man, I got hiccups. Um, but I really want to get our wrestling podcast back up and going. I miss talking wrestling. So
Eh,
maybe when you're listening to this, it'll be back. Oh, you're kind of in the camp and wanting to wait for fans to come back before we do it.
fans are better fucking content.
Yeah, it is.
One of the two. I just, I can't be doing it.
Yeah, I mean, as we're recording right now, May 25th of 2021, um, Monday Night Raw has kind of hit a snag right
Get a
now.
snag.
Yeah, Raw needs fans. So
Yeah, they need, and I mean, look, they're not losing that third hour. We've had that discussion. Um, NXT, I feel like is on the upswing.
yeah, finally.
AEW is generally solid.
Yep.
Um, SmackDown, SmackDown's good, but I think it's only good because of Roman Reigns. Like, I think if you take Roman Reigns off of SmackDown, you might be in a Raw situation.
Yeah, well, with Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, and Jey Uso. I mean, like people are listening to this now, and in about a week, we're getting fans back from you listening to this.
Oh shit!
Actually, wait a minute. This
It's back.
uh like if you're listening to this, fans come back tonight.
Oh shit!
Fans come back tonight. Yes, there you
Oh
go.
shit! There you go.
So it's the beginning of a new era in wrestling. So that's crazy.
So, do you think they do something big? I mean,
Uh,
tonight. Like, do you think they do something stupid? Like, and I'm stupid can be
um,
any
I
number
th-
of things, but like,
I'm gonna guess in about 2 months we're gonna have a title match. We're gonna have John Cena coming out opening the show because why the fuck not? And yeah, I think we get 2 title matches on that show, and maybe with this being the maybe we get the Raw champion on SmackDown tonight too. I'm
just
just
for
gonna
a
throw that out.
just for a champion versus champion because you haven't really been able to do it.
Yep, and maybe Brock Lesnar comes back tonight.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? Is Brock Lesnar going to beat the champion in 8 seconds again?
And he will. But yeah, so this week are you ready to get into this week's episode?
Oh, definitely.
All right. So this week's episode is episode 50, Doug. After this review, we have reviewed 50 episodes and one movie of Pokemon.
That's nuts.
It is. So this week's episode is Who Gets to Keep Togepi? And translated from Japanese is Whose is Togepi?
I mean, yeah, short,
So
sweet, and to the point.
yeah, very short and sweet. So this is a great episode. It's a landmark episode for future episodes. So it's one of those. If we didn't have this episode, a lot of stuff wouldn't even happen in Pokemon. So it's one of those episodes. This episode was introduced in Japan June 25th, 1998, and premiered here in the States March 27th, 1999. And Doug, my event happened in 1985. Did I beat you, or are you going first again this week?
Nah, mine happened in 1952.
Well, shit. I swear that all of you EPEEP fans, hashtag EPEEP. I should say that a little bit more often on the show. But all you EP fans, you should be making bets with your friends. Like before you start the episode, just take a guess. Like who's gonna go first in the events? Because most of the time it's Doug. But on the off chance that it is me, the person that guesses that it's me should get something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they should get a big prize because it's very rare that I go first.
I was gonna say lean heavy on me, but never put big money.
Yes. So you should play we'll call it the EPEEP event game. There you go.
Because
EPEEP event game.
it's gonna be me most of the time, unless you're feeling petty one week.
And you'll know if I'm feeling petty or not, because Doug will have the little boo boo voice.
Well, that one that you did, because to your credit, you have only done it one time where you deliberately jumped me.
Yes.
You read the blurb, and that's all you did.
And it's gonna eat you up every single. It's out there.
It's bullshit.
It's not bullshit.
No, it is. You've beaten me generally a couple of times.
Yes.
But that one time where you're like, I'm going first.
I'm going first this weekend. You can't stop me.
Bullshit.
Yeah. So, is it kind of crazy, Doug? And right before we get into the event, in 2 weeks from actually 2 weeks from tomorrow of you listening to this episode is our 1 year anniversary.
It is a little crazy.
Oh no, yawning! You can't be
shut up.
yawning.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, it's a little that is just nuts. But we'll see what we're gonna do on that episode. But all right, let's go ahead. What happened on yours, Doug?
Right. So on this date on March 27th, 1952, the musical Singing in the Rain premieres at Radio City Music Hall. About a couple of weeks ahead of its wide theatrical release, and obviously famous for the titular song.
I'm singing in the rain. I'm singing in the rain.
Gene Kelly dancing around the light post and all that shit. It was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. She did not win.
Nice little pointer there, Doug.
Well, it was nominated for a handful of things. It only won another handful, but they didn't win. But yeah, Singing in the Rain. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry in a little light rainstorm with a does that little dance around a pole. Every now and again, they eat shit. It's funny. Yeah, Singing in the Rain, real toe tapper.
All right. Well, mine happened in 1985, and this is actor Billy D. Williams, one of the stars in the Star Wars movie, and I don't think he really did too much after Star Wars. But Billy D. Williams got his Hollywood Walk of Fame star, Doug.
I feel like they just give those out. I mean,
yeah.
No disrespect to dude, but like Vince McMahon has a star.
Well, Vince McMahon, I mean, he's Vince McMahon.
Wow.
He has the biggest circus in the whole world.
Well, that's a fair point.
Yes. He tours. There's no off season.
Well, yeah.
But
if they came out next week and said we're taking 2 months off, people might be butthurt for a day, but I don't think they would care.
I don't think so either. You want to know why? Because they got
Well,
AEW. Let's be real.
well, but even AEW can wear thin.
Facts. So I don't know. Could we go 2 months out of the year without wrestling?
Well, and I'm not just talking WWE. Like I'm talking, and I mean, this would never happen because it would require everybody coming together and acting in one. I mean, it would basically require a union, and ain't nobody going to unionize.
Nope.
But I
But
mean,
yeah,
everybody else goes off.
that's true. But so do wrestlers. I mean, wrestlers take time off it, but they just fill their spots with other wrestlers. So it's like we never miss anybody because wrestling's good with
Lingar.
that. But but Billy D. Williams, he played Lando in the original Star Wars Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And I made the joke off air. I said, man, he was a skinny guy. He's not fat, but he definitely put on a little bit more weight in his later years than what he did in the original Star Wars because he was a little skinny dude in the original Star Wars movie.
He's got that Star Wars fuck you money. He doesn't need to care.
I know he's eating a steak every night. So, but yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars, and I really hope that they bring back more. Um, and that's all I'm going to say about that right now. I'll just throw that out there. I'm not going to say anything else because I'm the type of person that if I say something and then it's the opposite, then I kind of blame myself. So mouth shut.
Did um did he have a cameo in the or shit? No, never mind. Never mind. Got my characters mixed up.
You're good. You're good. So, all right. Well, all that being said, I'm sitting back in my nice little theater room. I'm about to hit the play button on the Pokemon episode with the subtitles. And we are good. Are you ready to?
I am ready.
All right. Who gets to keep Togepi? We all know the answer, but let's review the episode to find out how it happened. So, this week, we start the episode at the Pokemon Center. And it's at this point where Nurse Joy, who has a red cross this week
Right.
on her head, can we? I feel like she's had a red one before. Is that more maroon?
You're a maroon.
Sometimes.
Let me
Sometimes.
see. Let me see if I can get a clear shot of it. No, that's red as red can be.
Okay. All right. But she starts this week's episode and she's like, "Are you Ash?" And Ash is like, "Yes." He's like, and he pulls out his Pokedex to get ready to show his his name. And she's like, "I have a letter. I have a message for you." And Ash opens it up, and uh it's an animated. I guess you can say like it looks like a birthday card. It has every single badge. I want to point that out. It has the all 8 badges on the inside imprinted in design, and it's Professor Oak doing like different movements, asking Ash to give him a phone call.
It's like a couple of gifts, but
Yes,
like it's not. But there's audio on top of the gifts.
yes, it's very weird.
Yeah. So he sits down. Just for the sake of it, we should say that Brock is drooling over Ash's shoulder this whole time because
Yes,
Nurse Joy is a pretty lady. So Ash sits down at the phone booth and he dials Oak, and Oak picks up on the second ring.
And he's
And
like, I suppose you got my message. It would be nice to hear from you every now and then. So because apparently Ash has been too busy to call in or to send over any new Pokemon. He's kind of gone absent.
well, he has been. He's been fucking battling prehistoric Pokemon and stopping horrible weddings and
He's had his hands full.
fighting rogue gym owners and shit.
So he takes a look at Pikachu. He's like, Pikachu, you're looking good. Hi, Misty. It's nice to see you. And then Ash's muck is just running amok inside.
Oh, boo! I could feel it. I'm like, no, hmm.
I had that line queued up.
Oh God,
since
listen. You should be ashamed. You should not be happy with yourself.
I am so happy with myself right now.
You should feel shame.
You should see the smile on my face right now.
You should feel shame.
But
hope your next meal is too spicy. That's terrible.
Yes. So Muck is running amok inside of Professor Oak's lab, and Professor.
Why is he not in a Pokeball? If he's that much of an issue, why is he not in a Pokeball?
Because Professor Oak doesn't like to keep the Pokemon inside of their Pokeballs.
Well, then he can't bitch. Because how did Muck get there? He was in a Pokeball, so he can't bitch.
Yes. So Muck is running around, and Professor Oak has no chill. He's like, "Come on, cut that out. Will you stop it?" And Muck is like, "Muck."
He has to friggin' jump over him basically and pin him down.
Muck is like a big, huge baby. Like he wants to see Ash. He hasn't seen Ash in probably about a month now.
And this is here's the argument again. Ash has an open spot, at least one.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, we should keep note as to what Pokemon Ash has on his belt. So he has a Pidgeotto.
He has a Pidgeotto, and he's got the 3 starters.
And Pikachu. He doesn't have Krabby, because Krabby's at Professor Oak's. He didn't capture any, so he legit has an open spot.
He has an open spot, and obviously, he's got like 27 Tauros or whatever, but yeah, so where's Krabby? Where's Muck? What the fuck?
Where's Tauros? Well, we can't talk about Tauros because that never happened.
It did because they bring it up later.
Yeah, I know.
Because I can't remember the context, but they're like comparing his output to Gary's. Ash actually has more Pokemon, but Oak is quick to point out it's mostly Tauros from the Safari Zone.
Yes.
So it happened.
It's just a throwaway line in a random episode.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, but he's got an open spot.
So Ash looks over at Muck and he's like, "My Muck seems to be doing good." And Professor,
it'd be better if it was out fucking battling.
No, who wants to? Muck smells too bad. Then don't capture it. But
yeah.
But Professor Oak is like, "Yeah, but taking care of it hasn't been so easy." And Muck is over there trying to give Professor Oak a kiss. He's laying on top of him. And he's like, "I hope the next Pokemon you send over to me is a little bit more manageable." He's like, "I hope so too, but I haven't caught any new ones in a while."
Yeah, well, whose fault is that?
And he
tried to catch you. What did he try to catch the other week?
Farfetch.
Yeah, but what was on the gurney? The
Pinsir. Dugtrio, Pinsir, any other Pokemon that was all injured from the car accident.
Brock has to go, "You can't catch him, you idiot."
And Professor Oak, and you can't get mad at me for this one, but he's like, "Hopefully the next Pokemon that you send over is not so mucky."
Yeah, well, you should be ashamed of yourself. You had time to say, "No, I'm not going to say that. I trust myself more than that. I'm not going to say that line." And you went with it anyway.
But after they get all the muck out, get it? Now I'm trying too hard.
Now he's forcing it.
No, but all right. So now that all of this muck is out of the way, Professor Oak comes up and he says, "Have you heard about the new Pokedex upgrade?" Ash is like, "Well, no, I haven't talked to you." And Professor Oak is like, "Well, there's been new Pokemon discoveries outside of the 151 Pokemon that are out there. So we need to upgrade your Pokedex." And it's funny that this happens now because this episode, without this upgrade, this up and coming Togepi would not be registered in the Pokedex.
Very true.
So he goes, "So this is how it happens. You're going to slip your Pokedex into the little slot right in front of you, and it's going to go boom, 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 bing, and it's going to come back to you and it's going to be updated." Right,
What
Doug?
did he do? All he did, he slid the Pokédex in, and Oak said it's all set. Oak
Yep.
had it for maybe a minute. What did he do?
He updated it.
Shenanigans.
It's just like a computer update.
He can't keep track of a muck. You think he's going to be able to turn around a Pokédex upgrade that quick?
You know, I don't think he really sent the Pokedex over to Professor Oak. I think you stick the Pokedex into the computer and Professor Oak press a button on his end and sends over the update.
Well, I would accept that because he did say, put it in this slot and I'll take care of it.
So
That's fair.
see that's why you have me, Doug. So it's after that moment that we go to a random restaurant and they're talking about going over to Cinnabar Island to the Cinnabar gym.
Right.
So, but it's at this point that Brock he's rubbing the egg, and the Ash and Misty are like, "Okay, well, I see you've been with that egg for quite some time," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm the only one that's basically with this egg, and I even sleep with it." Doug?
And then we get that nice little image of Brock tucking the the egg in and turning off the light. It's got its own little sleeping bag, and Misty's just mortified. And then we have a brief discussion of, gee, what do you suppose is going to come out of that egg?
I had So this is where we find out. I mean, not find out, but this is when we realize again that these are 10-year-olds and a 13-year-old talking about an egg. Because what the Pokemon that they talk about coming out of this egg is just atrocious. Misty is like, it can be a Tentacruel, which is the evolved form of Tentacool, which means that the egg would have had to already have evolved.
Right.
So, and what Pokemon does Ash say that he wants? He's like, oh,
Well,
it could be an Aerodactyl.
He doesn't say what he wants. He's afraid that it's going to be an Aerodactyl because then he has flashbacks of the Aerodactyl
He has
capturing
PTSD
him.
from that
Yeah.
Aerodactyl episode. But Brock should have known because he's like, I hope it's a Golem.
And there again, it would have to evolve twice.
Yes. And then Misty is like, well, what if it's a lovely little Lapras?
And that's the first time that they've been practical.
Yes. Well, could that egg be a baby Lapras? Because aren't Laprases just born?
Well, right, but that would be where it would work because it wouldn't have to evolve.
True. So it's after this that we get Team Rocket, who is working in the restaurant, and Meowth is like, oh, they're hatching a new Pokemon. And this is where they get the bright idea to steal this egg. So, Doug, take it away from here.
Right. So, Jesse and Meowth are gung-ho for the egg stealing. And James is like, no, we have a long tradition of trying and failing to steal this Pikachu. And I, for one, am all for holding up tradition. So they kind of do a huddle without him. And James can't get in the huddle. And he's like, yeah, let me in. I'm okay with breaking tradition. And then and then we go out of the restaurant, and I mean, we know that these two are Jesse and James, but to our sweet and dim-witted
Trio.
trio, they're just egg sellers.
Random egg sellers. They're like, "Ooh, we're selling eggs. Well, won't you want some of these eggs?" And Ash is like, "Well, we don't need to buy an egg from you because we already have one of our own." And that's when Jesse and James sits there and they throw. Well, no, they ask to see their egg, and Ash is like, "Okay, well, here it is." And
Brock
Brock,
has it in his shirt.
yes,
I don't like it.
he's a mother.
I don't like it.
So Brock is Brock shows them the egg, and their Team Rocket's looking at it. They're like, "Oh, lovely, beautiful, beautiful." And it's at this time that they toss all of their fake eggs over to them, and Meowth grabs the trio's egg, which has Togepi in it, and Team Rocket unveils themselves as the thieves. So it's at this point now that as Team Rocket is doing their motto, they're being ignored by the trio because the trio is looking on the ground for the egg.
Yeah, and Team Rocket gets upset because they're like, "Hey, you didn't let us finish, and we didn't even get to the best part." You know, because
Eh,
they're, is it this one? Is it this one? And then Misty picks one up, and then we have like a little piece of paper with a frowny face,
They got one that's a tongue sticking out.
and then we find out that Meowth has the actual egg.
Yep. And Ash is like, "Come back, you thieves." So it's at this point that we fully fast forward to Team Rocket is in a forest and they're inside of this cabin. And inside of the cabin, they have the egg sitting on what looks like a little pillow. And James is ready to eat this
Which is, I mean, dumb.
egg. He's like, I like mine over easy. Or maybe we can scramble it. And Meowth just gets Meowth turns into mommy Meowth.
This brings up an interesting discussion, just for shits and giggles.
Okay.
How do you prefer your eggs?
I like mine over easy.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. I mean,
What do you got?
I'll definitely eat a scrambled egg, but I like to pick up. I'm one of those where I'll have it over easy, and I'll pick up the whole egg, put it in my mouth, and have the yolk just break in my mouth.
Oh, see, I like to break the yolk and then sop it up with a piece of toast or something.
I will do if I have toast. I will do that,
Yeah.
or I'll take my bacon and kind of rub it in the yolk. So
Oh,
good,
yeah, yeah,
so good.
absolutely.
So
Like the other day, I had a couple, and I had some yolk on the plate, and we had some leftover tortillas, and
ooh.
I just like I didn't care. I just needed something to soak up the yolk, so but yeah.
Our audience is like, get on with the episode. This is the people that don't like yolk are like, ew, this is so disgusting. So it's at this point where Meowth turns into mommy Meowth and is like, we're not going to eat this egg. I'm going to nurture this egg, and I will warm it up with my body, and I will be its mom. And Jesse and James are like, "What?" And we see Meowth gobbling down rice and holding the egg, and we go through a few different montages, basically. And James is like, "Why are you still holding on to this egg?" And he's like, "Of course I am. I am its mother. And if I let go of this egg, it'll cool off and it won't hatch."
Which
And
was a fair point in amidst all the bullshit.
But then we go into a montage of him letting go of the egg and pouring hot water over the egg, and then we get James just being funny. He's like, "Oh, so he's boiling the
So, I like mine soft boil.
egg," and we have Meowth taking a bath with the egg and telling a bedtime story to it. It's just funny.
Tucking the egg in. The egg's got its own little sleeping cap,
Yeah, basically Meowth is Brock.
and Jesse is sickened by it, and James is just confused.
Yeah. He's like, Meowth could be so, and then Jesse's like, revolting.
And
So,
then we cut back to what I guess we can assume is the next day,
yes,
and our trio is following a trail of discarded eggs.
yes, you are right. And Team Rocket was dumb enough to, as they were running away into their cabin, to leave a trail of eggs on the way. So the trio sees the eggs and they're like, okay, these are Team Rocket's eggs. So if we follow this, it'll lead us straight over to Team Rocket. And Ash is like, yeah, aren't they pretty dumb? And it's at this moment that Brock is like, well, if they're so dumb, how come they're the ones that have the egg?
Burn.
And Ash does the whole animation with his head dropping down, going, I guess you have a point there. Uh. And Pikachu runs over to the
I mean,
edge of
to
a.
be fair, if we're mad at anybody, we're mad at Brock because Brock got it knocked out of his hand. So I mean, if we're getting that petty about it,
Yeah, like if you cared so much about this egg, it would not have fallen out of your hands that easily.
it would have been in your backpack, and you would have said, "You know what? No, I don't think I'm going to show it to these strangers."
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Pikachu runs over to the end of the cliff because, of course, the eggs lead all the way up to the cabin. It's a kid show, and Brock is like, they must be in there. So they walk over to the window and they look inside, and Team Rocket is inside of the cabin. It looks like James is cooking breakfast. Jessie looks like she's eating a pancake, and Meowth is shining the egg from its slumber.
What does shining the egg do?
Makes it nice and shiny.
But it's going to hatch and crack.
Yeah, but if you think about it now, if since it is Togepi, all he's doing is making Togepi extra shiny.
No, because this part breaks off.
Yeah, true. Well, you don't know that. I mean, for all we know, the egg could be upside down. True, but the feet would be coming out. So
Yeah, the
yeah,
feet would
yeah.
be coming out, and it would still. I mean,
So it's in this. I took a liking to this because I play Pokemon Go, and in Pokemon Go, in order to hatch your eggs, you have to put them in an incubator. And then when you put it in the incubator, you have to walk with your phone tallies how much you walk, and depending on what type of egg you have to walk a certain distance in order to hatch your egg. So it's at this point that Meowth, as he's shining the egg, says, nice and shiny because we got a lot of incubating to do. I just like that he kind of threw that line in there. And fast forward 20 years later, we have Pokemon Go, and you have to put your egg in an incubator to um, to hatch it. Or in the old Pokemon games, you would just hold on to it, and it would be assumed that it's inside of an incubator, and you had to take so many steps for it to hatch.
yeah, I remember going up and down a certain path in my bicycle
Just to hatch it, right?
just to hatch the damn egg.
And it's at this point James brings over scrambled eggs. So I guess he doesn't like his eggs over easy. He brings
Yeah,
over some scrambled eggs, and Meowth takes the little napkin that he's shining the egg with and just knocks him out. And then gets a no, it was a pan. He takes
he's
the
got a
pan.
he's got a frying pan.
Where the fuck did he get the frying pan?
Maybe he was sitting on it.
Apparently. And he's like, how can you be so insensitive, you numbskull? I told you to not use the EGG word. And James is just knocked out. I want to point out that James had a bandage on his tooth from getting knocked out.
Cracked him.
Yeah, he cracked that tooth. And Doug, you want to take it from here back out to the trio?
So our trio's bright idea is that they're gonna bum rush the cabin. So Ash brings out Bulbasaur, Brock brings out Geodude, and Misty wants to bring out Starmie.
Um, yes,
Yeah, Starmie.
Starmie. Well, Ash also brings out Pidgeotto.
Oh, it's Pidgeotto for. I thought it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so Pidgeotto. So Misty wants to bring out Starmie, but of course Psyduck is to the stage where he just can't be contained.
And she just snatches him and puts him back into the bag, and then they break through the window. So I have a problem with that because how do they know that Team Rocket owns this place? But they just bust through the wall and the window with Starmie, Pidgeotto, and Geodude,
Oh, it is Staryu.
or Staryu. There you go.
It is Staryu.
And uh, they're in there just running amok.
Oh, for
And
goodness sakes!
that time I didn't do that one on purpose, but it's good for the episode. And Pidgeotto comes over and just snatches the egg away from Meowth, and Meowth is like, "Huh?" and just hands it right back over to Ash. And Meowth is like, "Give me back my egg."
And we get the first appearance of coughing or of wheezing and Arbok,
Yes,
and
we would
we
have
get
Growlithe if freaking Jesse would have. I mean, James would have taken his damn Growly with
no, 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 no. You misunderstood. He has to guard the house that he never gets to enter.
him. Yes,
Right.
I
Dumb.
know, stupid.
So Wheezing uses poison gas attack, which is dumb because, well, I guess there is ventilation because they did knock a hole in the wall.
Oh, I'm just gonna. I don't mean to cut you off real quick, Doug. But would it make you mad if I told you that Arbok and Weezing don't stay with Team Rocket?
The fuck do you mean they don't stay with him?
They end up getting different Pokemon later on.
Well,
They,
how
they
much later?
probably about two or three seasons from now.
Jesus Christ.
They get rid of their
Well, they do. They get a Wobbuffet.
that's not the new one, but they um basically a series of Ekans and I don't want to give the whole thing.
Yeah,
Basically,
don't go too far if you don't have to.
yeah, Arbok and Weezing have to stay to protect some Pokemon, so they leave them.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, that you can add that to your list in a couple seasons. I just want
Son
to
of
throw
a.
that out there.
So yeah, there's poison gas. So Pidgeotto uses Gust to clear it up, and as before he clears it up, we have this whole um, game of hot potato where somebody gets it for like a second, and then it's knocked out of their hands, and it goes to somebody else, and it gets knocked out of their hands, and that's when Ash is like, "Look, we need to get rid of this gas," and then we see the egg go tumbling through the air, and Ash makes a hero's leap to catch it, and it slips through his hands, and we see it heading down, and everybody panics because the egg's going to hit the ground and it's going to crack, and then we're all going to be sad. But when the smoke clears, Pikachu's standing there,
And has it right in his hands and looks all sorts of cute.
brings it over to Ash. Ash is sitting there, and we see it start to shake and kind of radiate, and we can see that something's about to happen, and we can see cracks start to form at the top of the egg, and then we
It's
get act break.
Yep, and it's at this point, and this is the key point to this
Yes,
episode.
yes,
So,
absolutely.
so Ash is holding the egg. Over comes Brock. Brock comes to hold the egg with Ash, and Misty bum rushes to the middle and snatches the egg from the both of them and says, "Hey, let me see." And the egg hatches, and at that point, out comes Togepi with a nice squeal, and Togepi looks at Misty, and Misty is the first thing that Togepi sees.
And yeah, and that's where we're gonna leave it for now. But
Yes.
yeah, opens its eyes, bang right on Misty, and then everybody's cooing and on over it for a second. And then they realize, oh shit, we were fighting. So, they send Weezing and Arbok after him. But then Pikachu shocks them,
And they're
and
gone.
and they run away. And Meowth is still, my egg.
And,
And
and we cut from that to the outside where they're all ooh and awing over this new Pokemon. And Ash knows for a fact that this is not from his region, which kind of begs the question: how did Togepi get here? But
yeah,
he,
fair point because it was at the dig site.
yes.
So yeah.
So he's like, oh, now that Dexter's been upgraded, he'll know the answers to what this Pokemon is.
And he
And
knows he knows as far as it's called a Togepi, but that's it.
yes.
So what the fuck did we upgrade?
So says Togepi, an egg Pokemon. Specific information about this Pokemon is still unavailable. Which, okay, so, and I don't know if you noticed this, Doug, but that's bullshit because at the very end of this damn episode, fucking Dexter
Oh
takes the
yeah.
stick out of his ass and fucking gives us an update on the damn Pokemon.
Now to be fair now, this was later.
But he didn't put that damn Dexter back into a computer to get upgraded again.
This is true.
So I'm going to leave it at that for just a brief moment
Maybe
while
it's
you
just
people are
maybe
listening.
maybe it's a constant upgrade. Kind of like your phone upgrades in the background up until it's like, hey, I've got an upgrade that I have to install.
For real. So, all right. So it's at this time that Misty's like, so Togepi is your name. You even sound cute. And Pikachu is waving at Togepi. Togepi is being all cute and waving back. And then we get to the problem of the episode.
Yes. Let's see here. So I gotta catch it. Yeah, because then Meowth is still, pining for the egg.
So, well, it's not that yet, but we get to Brock picks up Togepi from Misty and tries to make a funny face. Togepi kind of just gives him a blank stare, and they're all sitting there. Brock is like, "Well, I watched this Pokemon, so this Pokemon should be mine now." And Ash is like, "Well, I found this Pokemon. Well, this Pokemon should be mine." And Misty's like, "Well, both of you are wrong. This Pokemon belongs to me."
Because it likes me best.
Yes. And
Which,
they're, which is bullshit.
well,
Yeah,
Misty's right, but she doesn't know why she's right.
I know. And it's at this point that Team Rocket ends up coming back in. Doug, you want to take this part?
Yeah, and then, Meowth is still, that's my egg. And, we got Team Rocket putting on the waterworks.
And Meowth is basically he's like, I've taken care of this egg basically just as much as any of you have. So at this point, so why don't we find out who gets to keep this Togepi? And Ash is like, you know what? We'll do this the old-fashioned way. Why don't we all have a series of battles, and the winner of all of the battles gets to keep Togepi, which is fair.
So we were going to have a six-way tournament.
Yes.
But Meowth says these two did nothing to care for this egg. They should be disqualified. Which, fair.
Yes.
Because James wanted to fucking cook it.
Yeah, he did. So
it's down to the four of them.
Which Meowth has no Pokemon.
Until he, he does the dumb, obvious thing. He's like, hey guys, could I borrow one of your Pokemon? And they're like, buzz off.
But you are a Pokemon.
And he's like, oh, I'll just battle myself.
Yes.
So our first matchup is Meowth versus Misty. No, fuck it isn't.
No, it's Brock versus
Meowth.
Yes. And it's Onyx, and he sends out Onyx, and Meowth is like, you know what? I got this. So he goes up and tries to scratch Onyx, and Onyx is made of straight rock. And Team Rocket's like, well, Meowth's not doing that bad. And James is like, yeah, he's funky. And Brock goes, your scratch attack can't do anything against Onyx's hard stone body. And he sends Onyx over to do rock throw right on top of Meowth. And then Meowth is just running like crazy until he gets smashed.
Yeah, he does get knocked, and then he's like, I'm not any good against rock Pokemon. What do I do? And we look.
Well, it's not even just that. He talks to himself. So he jumps back as if he's a trainer getting ready to tell Meowth what to do. He's like, "What's wrong, Meowth? Hang in there." But Meowth's scratch and bite attacks aren't any good against that giant rock Pokemon. And then he looks over at Togepi playing with Pikachu's tail, looking all sorts of cute. And he's like, Meowth is going to refuse to lose.
And then he looks over and he sees 2 buckets of water, and he goes, ah, and he chucks the he chucks the water, and then he uses
So
Fury Swipe.
yeah, he uses Fury Swipe in conjunction with the water throwing, and he ends up beating Onyx.
And Brock has a point.
He said throwing water is cheesy. He's like, I'm nearly a parent fighting for his child.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, I know. And I'm going to win this tournament.
So then we're down. Our next battle is between Ash and Misty.
And it's their first battle since the Cerulean City Gym, is what they said.
Right. So this is where God damn it.
This is where Ash
uses Bulbasaur, and Misty, it doesn't really matter what it wanted to use.
Because Psyduck comes out.
Psyduck comes out, and Misty wants to call him back, but since it was established that this was a 1v1, calling back would forfeit.
Yes.
So Misty's like, all right, Bulbasaur, go for the head. And Ash goes, you must really think I'm stupid.
And Bulbasaur goes over and just starts licking Psyduck's head, making it laugh.
Psyduck is just on the floor rolling, and then
Ash is like, use the tickle attack, and freaking Bulbasaur uses the Vine Whip to just start tickling Psyduck, basically into submission.
Yeah. Psyduck basically retreats into the ball, and Ash and Bulbasaur are having a good time. Misty's pounding the ground. Togepi's just on a pillow, just enjoying life.
And then we get Pikachu versus Meowth.
And Meowth, to make a long story short, basically psychs itself up too much and gets distracted by the cuteness of Togepi. And we have a flashback of them eating together and bathing together and sleeping together. And Pikachu puts his tail on Meowth's charm and shocks him.
Yep. And that's the battle, and Ash is the winner.
And Meowth has a cheesy /good/eh line of, I lost so fast, I'm shocked. And Ash and Pikachu are celebrating, and Ash is trying to welcome Togepi into the flock, and Togepi is just having none of it. Not rejecting Ash, but just not, moving. And Misty kind of leans in, and Togepi turns around and just gets all happy, and then runs over to Misty, and then Dexter must have completed its update.
Finally, and goes, Togepi's imprinted. Oh, hold on. Let me rewind that real quick so I can get. So Togepi gets up and walks over to Misty, and Dexter, as you said, it says Togepi is imprinted with the image of the first thing it sees.
And then we get a quick flash of Misty being a linebacker getting in right before Togepi opened its eyes. and Misty wins Togepi by virtue of nature.
Yes. And Misty is like, Togepi must think I'm its mother. And she then asks Pikachu to help take care of Togepi, to look after Togepi. And Pikachu agrees. And the narrator goes, so it seems like Togepi is the real winner, don't you think? And Ash and Brock are just looking down. And Misty is over there parading because even though she didn't have a fair chance with Psyduck, she still got the Pokemon.
Because she's a girl.
She's a girl and she wins. So, yep, that's this week's episode.
I liked it.
I liked it too. It's a cute episode. I love Togepi, and I can't wait to get into the real roots of Togepi a little bit later on. But this was a great episode.
It was. It was. I mean, it could have easily been a throwaway episode, but since Togepi sticks, I mean, there's some legitimate stakes in this.
Yes. So this is one of those monumental episodes that I'm just gonna throw out there that it's one of my, I'm gonna say this is one of my favorite episodes because it's reoccurring and things just, I mean, things get better for the trio because Togepi holds a mysterious power that nobody can understand until a little bit later on. And that's as far as I will go from there.
Well, that's as far as you should go, yeah.
Yes. So, all right. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, this was a great episode. It's great for our 50th episode. Next week, we have another great one because we get a progression with Bulbasaur. Because next week's episode is Bulbasaur's Mysterious Garden, which has the whole episode is about will Bulbasaur evolve? So we will find out next week.
Yeah.
So next week's episode, translated from Japanese, is Fushigdane's Mystery Flower Garden. I butchered Bulbasaur's name like crazy.
I'm gonna have to take a pass on that.
Yeah, I'm good. I'll take the English version. So, all right, we'll say goodbye, Doug.
Goodbye, Doug.
And this is Wrestling Chris G telling all of you, do not miss next week's episode because it's a great one and it's a great progression in the series as well. Have a good night, everyone.